Hey, welcome back to DIYWILLY. Today, in this episode, we're going to work again on the what's left of the DELL OPTIPLEX. If you saw my last video with the installing the heat sinks on the memory, you know that I have a new Gigabyte motherboard to go in there in its place of the DELL motherboard, and well, I need to test it. I don't want to take apart the DELL yet until I make sure that the motherboard is working and everything functions properly. So we got a whole mess of parts here. Here's where the motherboard, the owner's manual, and the CPU fan, the 4770 CPU, the 500 watt power supply from EVGA. We got some thermal paste, we got some new cables, and we got a new 500 gigabyte hard drive. Actually, it says, oh yeah, 500 gigabyte. So we got the monitor here. And Groot's in action. There goes Groot. Anyway, we need to get the motherboard out, put the power supply in, and yeah, let's see if it turns on. So I know this is not normally what my channel's about. I've had a few videos now of the computer build, but you know, normally I'm doing stuff like engines and cars and whatnot. But I need this computer build going on, and I'm enjoying it. I like it. It's fun. Now, I'll go back to my regular engine content and vehicle content when I get this done. This will be the last thing I do to the DELL OPTIPLEX, actually removing what's left of the OPTIPLEX from the computer. It'll just be a custom build at this point. Yeah, I do have some stuff coming up for the engines on the mini bikes, and of course I got some products coming from manufacturers for the cars. So yeah, let's get going on this build, right? We need to test that motherboard. We'll get the motherboard out here and get it all set up. You know, first of all, we got to get that CPU in here. We're just going to do it right here on top of the box. This will work fine. Whew, I love the way it looks. It looks so nice. Now, need to get the CPU out. I put the CPU inside. Remember, this is the 4770 that we took out of the DELL. And, well, it's going to live in here for a little while. It's got the CPU cover on there. That's pretty cool. I was really surprised to see that. Let's see if we can stiffen this up a little bit. Alright. So the pins look really good. Doesn't look like there's any damage. It's really clean. Let's see if we can keep it that way. Come out of there. Okay. So this is the 4770. You want to line it up by the little triangle right there on the corner. And it's got little indentations that line up with the socket on the side. We just set it in there like so. I've always seen this on the new builds where they close it down and the little plastic cover pops off. Let's see if it does that. I'd be really excited if it does. Go ahead and set it down. Nope, it didn't do that. How do I take that little cover off? Just like that. All right, that's pretty neat. We're gonna save that for sure. We need some thermal paste. Let's get the fan out. I'm gonna run the Coolmaster fan that we put together in the first part of this build. I'll run that on the 4770. It seemed to work fine with the 4770. But we'll have to use the back plate on this one. When we're ready here, we got some thermal paste. We got Groot camping out right there. Hey, buddy. We got some thermal paste. We got a spreader. Now let's put it on. Put a good dot, little dollop in the middle. And then we're going to spread it around. I like to spread it. This way I know we get good coverage. We're not relying on the CPU to spread it. There we go. We can go ahead and get this ready to go. There's my fan header right there. And we need to get the back plate. Now I'm not gonna take that off there. I'm gonna leave it on there because it's not gonna be permanent. There we go. I hold that on. We'll go ahead and set the fan. Let's see. Yeah, but just do it like that for now. This is just a test bench. Would you believe I forgot the screwdriver? I gotta get a screwdriver. I had forgot the screwdriver. I really thought I could do this without any tools. So here we go with our brand new Samsung 870 EVO 500 gigabyte. We're gonna have it set up here. Now remember, this is just to make it all work. Probably wouldn't need the hard drive, but I have it. We're gonna do it. If it works, I have the Windows. If it works, I have the Windows Media disk right here, or thumb drive rather, set up ready to install Windows if we're good to go. So we'll just have it all ready. We're gonna use the onboard video. This processor has a GPU inside it. I don't know if it's called iGPU or something, but it's got a GPU built into the processor, so we'll connect to the motherboard. I bought these new cables to use in the case. They're nice. They're big. They're big. Now, on the motherboard, you have all your SATA connections right here. And I don't know if you can see it, but down here in the middle it says 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, stuff like that. So we're going to connect to 0 for the main hard drive. Just like that. And we'll connect this one. Just like that. It's a lot of cable. Just leave it like that. That'll be fine. And really, that's about it. Oh, I did want to change the battery. I don't know how old this battery is, and well, I just don't know how old it is. If it's even good. I haven't had it powered up. I have an extra battery here. I bought some new ones. Lithium 6 CR2032. We'll go ahead and get one of these out and drop a new battery in there. If I can get them open. I don't know why they package this stuff up so you can't open them. Make sure it's clean. Now you can clean these contacts for the battery. You can clean it with like a pencil eraser and take any oxidation off or anything that might be on there, but I think we're good. It looks pretty good on this side. I'm just going to go ahead and drop in the new one. All right. Set that aside. Now I know we've got power. And also, I'm gonna go ahead. We had the battery out, so we're clearing CMOS. We don't want it to, or we want it to be sure that it's like a fresh install and that it's all factory settings. In case there was any overclocking or any user settings that were applied to the motherboard before. Now we know we're going to be good and refreshed. So I guess we can move on to the power supply. Or we could plug in the monitor. What do you think? We'll plug in the monitor. And hopefully this cable's good. See, we've got USB and display port right here. We're going to plug into the USB. Just like that. I'm going to leave it unplugged for right now. Clear the work area. Monitor is set up. And we'll get the power supply out. This is the EVGA 500 watt. This is what I was using originally in the system when it was in the Dell tower. It'll work perfect for powering this up right now. Perfect. All right, just gonna give it a quick once over. We've got power to the monitor. You see what I'm doing over here? Power supply is not on yet. Yeah, I'm nervous. I really am nervous. Let's see, we'll turn it on. Yeah, there's a red light over here. Here's a red light right there. All right. It's a good sign, right? What do you say we hit the button? Woo! It's going through the boot up. I can see the display going, checking all its checks. Now it's been a while since it's been turned on, especially with the new battery. We cleared CMOS. It may go through a couple cycles of everything. What is that, A6? I don't know what A6 is. Wow, would you look at the motherboard? Look at the red lights, all the LED on it. I've got nothing up here though, nothing on the screen. That makes me kind of nervous. What's A6? Time to take a look to see what code A6 is. I'm gonna have to see what it means by that. I'll go ahead and shut it down. And we'll have to figure out what it means by that. Okay, so it's been a few minutes, actually probably closer to an hour. I was able to get it to come up, and I've got Windows installed. So it seemed that the problem was in the HDMI cable going to the monitor. I did swap out the cable and try it, and I got it to post, but it was really grainy, really staticky looking, and a lot of interference in it. So I shut it down and I installed my Radeon RX 550 graphics card. Now that you can see is operating fine. The system is up, Windows is installed, it looks great. So what I'm thinking is there's a lot of oxidation. See, these things are these connections on the I/O on the side back here are gold plated, and there's a lot of corrosion on the gold, and I'm thinking that corrosion is also on the inside where the HDMI cable was trying to make contact, maybe ground or maybe other contact inside, and it didn't have good contact, so it wouldn't tell the system, hey, there's a monitor here. It wouldn't go into post, it wouldn't do anything. So by adding the graphics card on here, which I don't want to move because it's not in there very stable, it worked. You know, we got it. And I gotta say, it's a beautiful looking motherboard, man. Look at that with the red, the blue, even the red LED strip and the underglow, the little BIOS light there. Man, I really like this motherboard. So there's not much I can do here. It's not connected to the internet. We have a few things here, you know, we can open some apps up. You know, obviously everything's here. Paint's there, you know, new, blah, blah, blah. Let's draw some lines. Whoa! Undo. Let's see. DIY. Willy! That's really bad, huh? That's really bad. Willy! DIYWILLY. Anyway, there's not too much we can do with this system right now because, you know, there's not much really installed on it. Right now it's just got the basic things. It is also running off the Kingston 240 drive, not the Samsung 500 gigabyte drive. I had this drive. I was thinking maybe it was the Samsung drive that was causing me problems, so I put this drive on. And when I was going through the process and I finally figured it out, I forgot to change the drive. So Windows installed on the Kingston 240 gigabyte drive, which is fine. That's what I was using before in the computer. And this is basic for internet browsing and DaVinci Resolve. So 240 gigabytes is going to be more than plenty enough. And shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. And even if it is, I can put the now that it's up and running, I can put the 500 gigabyte Samsung drive in there and do the install. In fact, I might try that. I might try the 500 gigabyte drive with, this is Windows 10 Pro. I might try it with Windows 10 Home Edition and see if it works any better. So yeah, I figured out what the problem was. It was in the HDMI on the onboard graphics going to the monitor. It couldn't see the monitor. When I did change the cable out and did a few things, it saw the monitor, but it was really grainy, really not very clear. So I plugged in the AMD Radeon RX 550 and it's working. So I guess you can call this a win. Now what I would need to do is during my troubleshooting, I pulled out the RAM. So now I'll go ahead and I'll shut it down. I'll reinstall all the RAM, and then I will go back into BIOS and make sure it sees all the RAM, and then go back and load up Windows and see how it turns out. Alright, so everything's up and running as we discussed before. I went ahead and I put the Samsung 500 gigabyte drive on there, and I loaded up Windows Home Edition. I'm going to try that with my DaVinci Resolve. I don't know if it's going to work any different. I've been using the Windows 10 Pro on the other system, and I may go back to it for this one. I don't know how it's going to react. But I mean, it's working great. Everything is beautiful. Really like how it's set up. I'm so happy that the motherboard works. It was giving me some fits at first, but I know it was just retraining the memory. The motherboard probably hadn't been powered up in a while. The BIOS was kind of goofy. Everything was a little bit confused, you know, but it's all settled in now. And starts up perfect. It runs good. I don't have anything on this. There's nothing on the hard drive. I'm not going to do any driver installs yet until I get it in the tower. I think it said it was on BIOS 14E from 2015. There is another later BIOS update to 2018. However, that one gave the motherboard, I guess, the ability to use Generation 5 CPUs. I'm not going to use Generation 5. I have a Gen 4 CPU. So I'll probably leave the BIOS the way it is. as long as I have no conflict with my DaVinci Resolve. I'm sure it's going to browse the internet just fine. The Pro edition did have some different characteristics in the colors and the screen, but I'm sure I could adjust that in the settings, personalize it a little bit, you know. The screen size is obviously pretty big right now because I don't have the video driver for the AMD, the RX 550 right here. I don't have the drivers installed for it, and I don't plan on doing the drivers. I want this to be a clean install for when I install the NVIDIA 1660 Super over here. Then I'll install the NVIDIA Studio drivers, and then I'll be able to adjust to a better resolution on the screen. It looks good. I've stopped it, I've started it, I've stopped it, I've started it, rebooted it, booted to BIOS. I mean, I've done everything I could to put kind of tests on it and get it up to where it is right now. I don't have any internet connection out here, so I'm not going to do any internet browsing or checking around. I'm not that one of those computer builders that does a lot of with the performance testing, you know, checking the benchmarks and stuff like that. I just don't have that software. I could download it if I had an internet connection, but I don't have it. And honestly, I don't understand all those benchmark stuff when you're putting a load on everything. And I'm so concerned with this older system that if I put too much of a load on it, it's going to burn up again. Like I said, I probably won't overclock it. I don't want to risk damaging the CPU, the motherboard, the memory, the graphics card, any of that. It runs, this one is the 477, the i7 477, no, 4770. There we go, I got it right. Is the i7 4770. It's not a K, it's nothing like that, it's just a regular chip. And it runs at 3.4 gigahertz, I guess. Anyway, 3.4 is fine. When I put in the 4790K, it runs at 4.0. So it runs a little bit faster. And with the faster graphics card, I mean, it all works really good in the other system right now. So I'm pretty much done with this. I've got the Samsung here. It shows it. Personalized. Let me bring the desktop up. CAV themes. Themes. Right? Background. No, I like that background. I can go with that background. Or that background. Or that background. I don't know who that is swimming. We'll stay with that. But anyway, let's see. Desktop icons. There it is. That's what I was looking for. I like to have my PC showing on the desktop. So we'll set that right there. There you go. And arrange it to where it looks better. I like to have it on top. There. Anyway, so yeah, it's working. You can see. Oh, I just bumped it. There it is. You can see everything's there. There's the hard drive. Showing 430 gigabytes free. Everything is there. Runs nice. The mouse doesn't really work too well on this top. I should have had a mouse pad out here. But everything is there. Very nice, right? Very, very nice. So yeah, take a look at that. That is one nice looking setup right there. Just the right amount of color and light. Couldn't ask for anything better. The only thing I could ask is if the graphics card had some RGB on it or something to give it a little more color. And I'm not going to do anything with these slots. These are just PCI slots, the regular slots. This is PCI Express, this is PCI. I don't know if there's anything that would go in a PCI. I'd like to get something to cover it and maybe put a DIYWILLY right there, or I don't know. We'll figure something out. But it sure looks nice. I like that underglow too. Sure looks nice. Great looking system. So, thanks for following along. Oof, I keep bumping it. Thanks for following along on this computer build. I enjoy doing this. It's almost as finicky sometimes as the engine builds or the mini bike builds, getting everything right. I really enjoy it. And thanks for stopping by, checking out my channel. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave any comment below if you have some suggestions or something I might should do different. If you have a way to clean the tarnish off of the onboard, some of the I/O stuff down there, leave a comment in the below too for that. I have a few ideas to clean the tarnish off, but I don't know how I can clean it inside. But yeah, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.